I'm Aubrey Shepherd. We've got a bunch of photos from South Fayetteville, Arkansas, and maybe even a few from downtown on the square, starting with the Fest for All. But right now, that is a milkweed beetle of a type that we don't see very often, so I've shown you a lot of others. There's a skipper moth, and notice it's on the seed head of the sunflower, and that shows you one of the reasons the pollinators are still using those things. That was a tiny, tiny insect. I've never gotten a great picture of one. Somehow I've got to get somebody to Photoshop one of those. That's passion flower, and it's blooming all season. They bloom from spring to fall, and they keep blooming if they get rain. That's a mist flower, and it's a beautiful small thing. Just started blooming at World Peace Wetland Prairie. Okay, now we're up to the square. That's Fest for All. I believe it's called Fest for All, or is that, anyway, it's the Diversity Festival they had last week. That's Gladys Tiffany and a young man who was helping her with the Omni booth there at the Celebration of Diversity, or whatever it's called officially. That's another Omni booth. There's Lauren Hawkins and a professor from the university, and they were talking about plants and animals and insects, and there are a couple of other ladies, and they were helping with the booth to show people where to go for what activities. That's David Druding's huge tree down on Cato Springs Road, and the work's still going on there. They're digging underneath to get a pipe through there. That's from Saturday on the square. That would be Saturday, the first Saturday of September 2011, and that's a monarch butterfly on one of the put and take flowers there. But there is Mark Corley in the green-blue shirt, and he sells native plants. And if you want some for your garden, then that's a place to talk to a man. And there are two writers, two well-known writers. They're in my age bracket. John's a little older. And that lady is a weaver, Jan Bryant. She's often at the square. I guess has been every time just about forever, seems like. There's something else using a thistle plant. Those look like tiny nymphs of milkweed bugs, but I'm not sure exactly. There are several species, and they really work on the... That is a carpenter bee, one of the ones that Amber Tripathi is studying, along with all the other bumblebee family. That's a beautiful, small, low-growing plant of the mint family. Uh-oh, there's my daughter Dee. She got in a picture again. And sometimes she's picture shy, but I think she'll like her photo there. Women are always touchy about what pictures you show. I think she made that picture right there. That's a dragonfly on World Peace Wetland Prairie that day. And there's a nice shot of a clear-winged moth on a thistle. And boy, the thistles have been important this late summer during a dry spell. Watered these a lot. That's a milkweed, and it's lucky to have any healthy leaves for the monarchs because it's been so dry. And that one's a curly stem version. Until next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. See ya. Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd again with photos, and these are mostly from World Peace Wetland Prairie and Pinnacle Wet Prairie in South Fayetteville, both being managed mostly for wildlife. And of course, when we talk about wildlife, we mean all sorts of things from tiny to big. Okay, this particular thing you're looking at is called a what is it? It's a seed box, and there's the flower of the seed box, and you saw the little box shape You can see some in the background, don't look square at that distance. Oh, this was a special treat this week. This is the seed pod of a Baptisia alba, the white wild indigo. And I noticed that one was split, and you saw it had cotton look inside. And I just had to look to see what was in there. And guess what? It's one of these tiny little spiders you see out on the prairie. And I really haven't had time to read up on just exactly how he operates there. But he may have been waiting for some other creature to come for him to grab. So I actually got him out and let him walk around on my hand. Harmless little spider. Here are some photos of the ironweed out on Pinnacle Wet Prairie. Belongs to Pinnacle Food Company. There's an ironweed with a ladybug family insect on it. And those things can be pretty interesting. Not all the species are good bugs, but most ladybugs are good for killing other bugs and eating them. And there's a large wasp on the boneset plant, Eupatorium something or other, and there are a lot of different bonesets, a lot of different Eupatoria family things. Oh, there's a different shot. Might be of that same dragonfly we used in another short take, but when you get one of those guys sitting still, it's really nice. That's a gray hair streak, and it's on frostweed, one of the wing stem type plants. And there's a bee on that Verbicina virginica, which is one of the wing stem is what allows them to hold a little water and be and freeze during the early frost season, and really make a beautiful flower of ice. And this, of course, is goldenrod, and there are several species of goldenrod. Some of them will be shaped sort of like the one you're seeing, and some will stand up in a different way. That's another species of boneset. That's the basic large-leaved one, the leaves you see with the white flowers at the top, and then beneath that the very red ironweed. That's also ironweed with a flicker on it, but a skipper moth or butterfly, and it was in the shade. This is Asclepias hirtilla. This is tall green milkweed, and it's in bloom maybe a little bit late, some people would say, but I see it bloom extremely late in the fall at times when conditions are right. And there you can see maybe the goldfinch. He's eating thistle seeds. There he is for sure. It's a little dark, but the light was behind him, and I didn't try to adjust this photo, but you'll also see a pile of fluff on the ground around those plants, because those guys are just ripping those seeds out and letting the chaff fall. Till next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green, and love your pollinators.